you all. Hey, listen, tonight on with me on the No Cap Show, this March 9th edition 2021, I have with me none other than the villain himself, who is no villain, but my brother from another mother. I have Minister Kenneth Wilder with me. Kenneth, how you feel tonight?
Hey, I'm doing real good, Bishop. You talking about 75? Shoot, let them get the numbers up to 100 when the COVID thing is over with. Hey, we might invite y'all to a live taping.
Woo, a live No Cap.
Oh, look at the motivation. Get on your job. Not only do we have the motivator. Matter of fact, I'm gonna change your name from the villain to the motivator tonight.
What'd you say, Trey?
I see that white in that coat. What is that? Some tequila you got over there?
What it is? Rolling down the street, smoking, sipping on
gin and juice.
Laid back.
We gonna pray for you, preacher. We also have the dynamic, the wonderful. I mean the technical. I mean the one, the only, the blooming flower of the cast. We also have with us the rising morning star. She's the No Cap queen herself. D Hike, how you feel today?
I'm telling you, it's good to be here. Good to be here. I'm a little raspy tonight, but other than that, you know, I'm like, maybe the Lord want the bear to come out tonight. I don't know what's going on. He changed my voice, so we'll see what's going on as the night continues. But I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here. Good topic. Parents, get ready. Strap your boots on. It's not going to be an easy ride tonight.
That sounds like the bear is here tonight. Sound like the bear is here. Not only do we have D Hike the bear and Kenneth the motivator, but we also have the president. You know him. Everybody all rise to your feet tonight because the president himself, Dr. Trey Little, is with us tonight. Dr. Trey, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing awesome. I'm excited. Tonight's topic is about to be big. It's about to be a tough pill to swallow for some people. We got to realize as parents, when are we helping and when are we crippling? And this is going to be a topic that's about to help the parents tonight.
Oh, well, we might as well crack the whip. We might as well go ahead. G-Hope Nation, tonight, want to thank all of you all for being here from all over the world. I saw New Jersey. I saw Virginia. I saw I've seen names from Texas. Even if you didn't type where you from, all of you all. G-Hope Nation, thank you for being a part of the No Cap conversation tonight. This is the No Cap Show. And tonight, No Cap. What is wrong with these parents and these children who will not, these adult children who will not participate in the grown folk expedition of getting a job, living on their own, standing on their own feet? What is wrong with these children who expect grandmama and granddaddy, great aunt, great uncle to raise their children? What is wrong with this world when we have a grown man who wants to date somebody's daughter, but yet doesn't have enough money to pay his own bills, have his own car, he won't have his own house, and guess what? That little girl is now a grown woman, and she ain't got time for no broke. What is wrong with the world? Kenneth, I have to come to you now. I need to know in your own opening words, how crazy is the society that we're living in where grown children get the mooch off of their parents?
Man, it is crazy at the amount of kids. And it's sad to see people more so in our generation, our age group as parents, where you have children maybe the age of Trey that have reversed our parents and trained them to mooch off of them, versus you look at the days when we grew up with our moms and dads generation, how you knew you weren't gonna stay in the house from the point you got to the 12th grade. They start giving you that speech your 11th grade year. Let me tell you something, and back in our day, it was two places you went: college, military. You didn't have a choice. Either it was college or the military. Trey's generation have different options, but in our generation, and even before our generation, it really wasn't so much college. It was military, or you get you a hard working job. But now in 2021, more so with the women than the men, Not saying that some men not capable of it, but at some point we got to start taking, and ladies, don't get offended. I'm just trying to express it the best way I can. But at some point we got to take the titty out the mouth.
No cap.
Male
No
or
cap.
female, take the titty out the mouth. And then guess what? If some of y'all ladies agree with me, in the comment, just type titties. I ain't mad at you. But at some point, you got to take the titty out of my breast. Don't even sound right. That sound like white. That sound like white folks talk. You know what, honey? I'm gonna have to take the breast out. No. We gonna take the titty out. Titty sound more like you need to get out my house. You need to get you a job. You need to find yourself. You need to learn how to do whatever. I'm not helping you no more. I can't do it. I'm not going to take care of you, take care of all 3 or 4 of your kids, and you lay around here while I go to work every day. So here it is. Hashtag that, take the titty out the mouth.
Oh my goodness. It sounds like me. Hashtag titty gonna be trending on Twitter tonight. D-Hype, I have a good question for you. I would love for you to just take this and run with it. In your own words, what I feel we're missing is tough love. In your own definition, what's tough love for a teenager or a young adult? What's tough love?
I believe that tough love after a certain age basically is saying that you have to give them the ability to move out, the ability to grow, the ability to live on their own. A lot of people think it's tough love when, when Black families or we as Black people tell our children to get out of the nest. You got to go and learn the world, do what it is that you do. You're not going to stay here and live your life like you are a child to live under my roof, but you want to have adult privileges. There are 2 things that we as parents should always give our children. That's roots, and then it's wings. Mm-hmm. We ought to give them roots while they're in the house with us, have them rooted and raised up in a good foundation, but we also have to give them wings to fly and leave the nest.
Wow.
So that's tough love. If we can't do that in parenting, then we really are failing our kids when it comes to this thing called life.
Wow. Trey, what do you think? Adding on to what Kenneth said, hashtag, and then what Miss D said, you're the younger generation of all 4 of us. What do you say?
Adding on to what Kenny said, man, at some point when you reach a certain age, you begin to want to do stuff. And if you got those real parents, it's certain stuff that you can't do at mom and dad's house. It's certain stuff that just not gonna happen at mom and dad's house. And that should be motivation enough for you to say, I want to go get my own. I want to be able to run my household how I want to run my household. But nowadays we so caught up in the parents saying, oh, my kid come in at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning if they want. My kid have come. No, we got parents asking kids, girlfriends, boyfriends, are they spending the night?
Right.
So at this point, we're hurting as parents, we're hurting our kids. Because now our kids feel like I can do anything I want in my mama or dad's house. I ain't got no reason to move out. I don't have a reason to go get on my own. And then when Keith say take the titty out the mouth, when you're a parent and you got these kids and your kid got a $600 car note like you, your kid got a $300 car insurance like you. I ain't talking 16, 17. I'm talking 20, 21, 22, 23. You paying $900 a month on your kid's car alone, and they walking around still sitting in the house while you going to work. They ain't trying to say, Mom, I got it this month. Daddy, let me help you out with this month. So that's what we spoon feeding our kids, and our kids have no desire of getting their own stuff. They have no desire of saying, I want to be able to make it on my own. And then going to where D say, man, as parents, we're crippling. We're crippling our kids so much. When she talk about the room for growth and then the room to give them their wings, as a parent, we're supposed to raise our kids. You're supposed to support your kids. You're supposed to teach your kids how to stand on their own. You are a poor parent if you get to the point where you make your kid feel like they're supposed to be there for you. You're supposed to be the example to show them how to stand on their own. And when your kid gets to a certain age, they seen the example. You shouldn't be a parent to say, I did all this for you when you were growing up. Now you got to do it for me. No, you teach your kid how to stand on their own and you lead by example. And I feel like that's what we need to be as parents.
The question that I have is, when we really think about it, which parent is more responsible overall, mother or father, woman or man, dad or mom? Which one is more responsible for allowing the moocher to mooch?
I mean, I really hate to say it, because if most real men, I mean, we men, and I know by nature the way God has it designed, that women are the nurturers in the home. And because they are the nurturers, because they are a little more emotional than the men, the majority of the women are at fault for some of this. Now, I'm not gonna, because, you know, hey, we like numbers on the no cap. And the reason why some women get caught in this trap, because some men haven't stepped up to the plate where she has to be mama and daddy, you know, so it's a twofold here. So when you have a home that does not have a father and a father was not present, a lot of time the woman will overcompensate for the male not being there. And so what happened, the children take full advantage of that. But if you had that old school training, like my grandma, let me tell you something. Man, I mean, we stayed with our grandma for a while. I still had 2 uncles in the house that were grown. My grandmother said, my door locks at midnight. I don't care if you 25, 35, 45, 55. Clara Finney door locked at midnight. And she said it don't open till 6 a.m. And I remember my uncles going out to the club. Shout out to the Peacock back in the day. Going out to the club and knocking on the window, telling me to come open the door. No, sir. My grandma used to get up, that window. Didn't I tell y'all? And guess what? They slept in that car till 6 in the morning because grandma meant what she said. Now, if you're in a home with a mother and a father, it's still part of the woman contributing to that, because, like I said, they are the nurturers. You know, men, we get a hard line. It's going to be this or that. And then they try to come and say, babe, well, you know, well, that gets old after a while. Because let me tell you, when you 30, 35, 40, as a man, as a real man, unless you have some type of disability and can't make it on your own, by 30, every mama and dad should have been and pushed that male out the house. Because guess what? That means he don't know how to run a household. He ain't gonna be no husband. And I don't want him talking to my daughter if he done stayed with his mama all his life. She brought you home from the hospital and you ain't went home, you ain't left yet from the hospital.
Man, I don't want him talking to my daughter if he's still staying with his mama and got the nerve to say, come over here and stay with me and my mama.
Well, not only that, shoot, I mean, some of them, believe it or not, a lot of them disrespectful, man. You ought to see the way some of these people, I've seen it firsthand, talk to their mamas and dad, and you stand there. Man, I know I will be in jail because I will beat the brakes. Let me tell you something. When you need something from me, especially like money, and I don't know about, you know, what nationality about it, but I just know about black folk. That's what I grew up around, black folk. Let me tell you something. You borrow X amount of dollars from black folk, it comes with a speech. You come to me and ask me for $500, it comes to me. Let me tell you something. First of all, I told you in the first place not to be doing this and that. Don't come to my house talking about, I don't need the speech, I didn't need the money. No, it comes with a speech. You borrow X amount of dollars for something, it comes with a speech. So, you know, like I said, we still hashtagging take that tit out your mouth. I got an aunt ask me what age do a male mature. But the thing about it, she never took the tit out. And here it is at 40-something years old. She's still paying that Negro rent, still paying his car note, picking up his kids, spending time with them. And then you come over and visit like you the buddy.
Wow. D-Hype, wonderful question.
Yes.
Are we hard enough on our daughters?
Oh, let me look. I personally believe that daughters get it worse than the boys do. Women will prepare their daughters to get out into this world. Because first of all, they're too much like us. So we really don't want, staying in the house together is a huge clash. So women will have their daughters prepared from getting up, washing the dishes while that little boy back on the game, cleaning up, doing stuff around the house while his room is halfway cleaned up. That's just the things that women do. My daughters left the nest early. They decided to do something big, get out on their own. They wanted to be in their own house doing their own thing. And I didn't stop it. I find that young men a lot of times are the ones that, like Kenneth said, still got the titty in their mouth, because they mama's baby, mama there's a certain type of just a love for that son that he gets away with everything. So I do believe that oftentimes we are harder on the boys, definitely, than we are on the girls. So I think you have to look at it. If you look at most scenarios, most young men move into the house or the apartment that their girlfriend has already set up and put into place. So I think that we raise those girls to get on out there and be in this world. That's why a lot of them are not able to submit. A lot of them are super independent because we've told them, get up, get out, and get something. And the boys are still at home drinking breast milk.
Wow.
No,
Wow.
Hashtag. You ain't hit them with that eye catch ditch. You got to get up, get out, and
get something.
You hit that eye catch. Just to piggyback all deep with them boys, especially with the boys, parents, we got to learn how to use verbiage is key.
Yeah.
We have to transition kids because here it is. You still got a late 20-year-old or 30-year-old. That's my baby. That's my boy. No, you got to start transitioning. Like people said, Kenny, you got kids? No, I don't have kids. I got adults. And with some kids, you got to use that verbiage. And they'll start saying, well, I'm your child. No, you're not my child. You are my daughter. You are my son. You're not my baby no more. You're not
entitlement, Kenny.
Say that again.
It's called entitlement. It's called, they feel like they're entitled.
Right. And what happened, they use that. So we got to start changing that verb. People say, kid, you got children? No, but I have a son. I have a daughter. I don't have children. They are grown. And sometimes we got to transition kids with verbiage. And they start saying, well, mom, you're going to do me like that, but I'm your child. No, baby, you're not my child. You are grown a woman. You are grown a man. You ain't my child no more. You my son. You my daughter. And then when you start using that verbiage to transition them, then that help. As long as you say, that's my baby, Colin. That's my baby. And then as long as you say that, they know that they still got that mouth hanging right there.
Still got that milk.
Around that little bride area right there. Got their lips stuck on there because you haven't helped transition them into adulthood.
Well, let me ask all of you all this question. Listen, I'm going to ask the question. G-Hope Nation, you all type your answer. I know most of you all are going to say it's all of the answers that I'm going to give. No, I want you to give the one that's predominantly dominant in this case, predominantly dominant in the answer. Here it is. And I'll start with you. I'll start with you, Trey, and then I'll go to you, D, and then I'll go to you, Kenny. What would you say is the reason for the lazy, disrespectful behavior of an adult, of adult child, or an adult who is a child of a grown parent? Would you say it's A, culture, what they saw, what they were raised in? Would you say it's a lack of discipline because they were not raised over time to know this is what I got to do? Or would you say it's a lack of getting a behind whoop? Culture, discipline, or whipping? I know everybody's going to say it's a combination of all, but no, I want you to give me the one thing that just stands out and explain it a little bit. D, Trey, what is it? Trey.
The lazy culture is definitely C. It's a lack of getting their behinds tattooed because you were lazy growing up. You can't tell me you just started being lazy as an adult. So at some point, you weren't cleaning your room. You weren't washing the dishes. You weren't cleaning the car. You didn't have to go outside and mow the grass. So for that, your parent always covered and said, "I'll do it." Now, where was the parent that came in there with the belt at 3 o'clock in the morning? Where was the parent that caught you out the shower? That will take you from being lazy, and you gonna know I gotta get this done. Trust me, it will make you know I better wash them dishes before I lay down.
Wow. D, what you say? Culture, whippings, discipline. Which one?
Ooh. Well, I'm gonna say this. I guess I'm gonna need to go with culture, because I done put down some whippings and still had to put down some more whippings and some more whippings and some more whippings. So I'm just gonna be honest with you. I think sometimes, and the reason why I say that is I do, like you said, I believe that it's a combination of all three.
Yeah.
But I do also believe that it's also the personality of that child too, and what they are exposed to outside of the home, because some kids you can beat them to bed and they're gonna try you the next day.
Wow.
Or 3 days later.
No
You
cap.
know, so I have to go. I think you have some kids, they get a whip one beat and then you ain't gotta never say nothing else to them. They're gonna be on point, they in check. But you got another one that you darn near almost catch a charge. The police, if they call the police, you going to jail. You going. And they still try you. I mean, I just, since Trey went with the butt whipping, I just went with the culture, even though I think it just depends, on the child, because all of these kids these days, they coming from a whole nother cloth. I'm not sure what's going on, but I'll take your life.
Hey,
What cloth you from? I'm still from that I would choke you to sleep cloth. You know what I'm saying? It's the whoopings. And then on top of it, it's the culture, because they start hanging with other people. Times are different now because of the internet, because of social media, the things that me and Dexter grew up with and D with. We didn't know some of the rules that kids know now. Now they get smart, start talking with their friends. Well, if you put your hand on me, I'll call the police. And then they can do that. Back in the day, we knew we had to sleep there. We knew, man, Dexter, you would have never, ever told Ann Lamar about calling the police on somebody.
No
because
doubt.
you know what?
No doubt.
Because now, and what kids don't realize, and because my mom was in the school system for over 50 years, some of these kids think they're really getting over, and she's had to go to court. And what happens, they get in that court, realizing thinking they're getting mom and dad in trouble, and then they get placed in foster care. And see, then all of a sudden it gets real then, because all of a sudden they go to crying, mama, no, boo, you told on me. I'll see you in 6 months. Go with that family that just want to get the check. They're probably going to abuse the hell out of you, lock you in a basement, halfway feed you, you peeing on yourself, you locked up, you talking about some mistreatment. That's another topic. That's mistreatment, because these folks just really doing false stuff to get a check to help make ends meet, and they're not really seeing about it. But no, I want to tell my mom and daddy, bye, more power to you, baby. But that whipping, man, let me tell you something. I grew up in a generation, everybody put their hand on you. Now, you got brothers that'll tell other brother, don't put your hand on my child. But guess what? My niece and nephew can't stay with me if I can't whoop them. Because if mine and yours acting up, I'm whooping both of them. Back then, man, don't get in trouble at school. When your grandma picked you up, your grandma whooped you. And let me tell you, I had the baby aunt and the uncle was still like 18, 19. I got home, had to have my lip poked out. Next thing my uncle done jumped on me. Then my mama whooped this, tell me that. I'm like, damn, ain't you told enough people? I done got my 5 whoopings. I done got 5 whoopings today. How many more people do you need to take out?
Hey, kid,
how many people do you need? And you know what, Dave? You didn't want your mama telling nobody else, because everybody broke down on you. It was a village. We don't have a village no more.
Yes.
And like I said, like I said, don't touch my baby. Well, you know what? Don't bring him over here.
Don't bring him here.
If your aunt whooped you, Dexter, you pray to God they wouldn't tell your mama, I had to beat the brake shoes off. Because then you got another. Let me tell you something. I done told you, don't you go over nobody's house and cut the food. And you know what? When the street light came on, we knew what time it was. Back in the day, if you went to school, the coach can jack you up, the teacher could pull you in the hallway, beat the brake shoes off you, and nothing would happen. I wouldn't trade them days for the world, but now society has taken over too much, and they part of the problem.
D, Kenneth, and Trey, you have an opportunity to talk, first of all, to the parent. Each of you, I give each of you 2 minutes right now to talk to every parent that's allowing their child to mooch off of them. What do you say? Start with you, D.
Bishop, I almost passed out because when you said whooping on their parent, I almost passed out. I just really almost blacked out when you said that because I thought you meant physically putting their hands on them because I just don't get that. But to the parent, I mean, if you have, my thing is the monster that you create and don't kill is the monster that's gonna kill you. I mean, basically. You know what I'm saying? You have to understand that because you're the parent, and what you raise up in your house. And I'm not saying that we don't have outside things that are contributors. We don't have situations. You might have an absent parent that may go against what you say. I don't know what the scenario is. And I'm not just talking to you guys, I'm talking to myself as well, because I have 2 14-year-olds in the house. You have to put your foot down, say what you mean, and mean what you say. And at the end of the day, like I tell my kids, if I don't whoop you here, if I don't train you here, if I don't give you boundaries here, guess what? Them white folk gonna put you behind some bars. They gonna whoop your tail. They're gonna train your behind. They're gonna do everything under the sun that they want to do to you, and you may or may not make it home after the fact. So you just gotta tell this society that we live in is not going to coddle you.
But that's my baby.
But you know what? It's gonna be your baby when they bury your behind 6 feet under because you got high blood pressure, heart attack, you stressed out, you ain't resting.
They just pulling the race card. They just doing that to my child because he black. They pull. What you say to that parent? They always want to pull the race card.
They let them keep pulling it. Just let them keep pulling it. Let them keep pulling the race card, and you don't put your foot down, and you don't do something, or you don't stand up because they're gonna pull it to the point of where you will never see your son again or your daughter, or they're gonna pull it to the fact that you're gonna be burying your son and your daughter because they don't know how to get somewhere, sit down, be quiet, always got something to say back, always got a rebuttal, smoking weed, driving the car, smoking weed, the car smelling like weed, drinking, leaving open containers in the car. Whatever the case may be, but you as a parent, you tiptoe around your children. You don't want to say anything to them because you're afraid that they're going to be mad with you. And at some point, you got to get to the point and to the place where you say, look, these grown folks, these people grown, they living their lives. And guess what? My money going to be in my pocketbook. Don't call me about no bail money. I ain't helping paying no tickets. I'm not doing any of that. As long as you continue to bail them out, they're going to always feel entitled to the fact that I can do what I want to do. I can act the way I want to act. I can move how I want to move because guess what? Mom and them going to come down there and they're going to fuss, fight, complain, pay for a lawyer, or do whatever it is necessary to try to get me out. And guess what? I don't care what kind of ride you on. It's eventually going to stop.
Kenneth, what say you to that daddy that will not make that boy rake the yard, cut the grass, take out the trash? What do you say to that mama that will not make that girl or that boy do what they supposed to do and quick to run up to the school to try to take up for the child and want to fight the teacher? What do you say to that parent?
Well, I'm going to say to her, because I don't want to always get down on the women. Men, hashtag, get your balls back. Get your balls back.
Are you trying to say they're a punk?
Exactly. Because you know what I'm saying? I ain't letting no child punk me, even if it's a boy. You not punking me. I don't care if I'm 5'5" and you grew up to be 6'4". Get your balls back. So this more about pull the tit out of the mouth. With the guys, get your balls back. D brought up a good thing, entitlement. Every generation goes through a thing where one had more than the other. Man, it was until I got to college where I had my first shrimp dinner, because Dexter, we didn't grow up eating shrimp.
Right.
Tell
Right.
it.
We didn't grow up eating shrimp and crab leg. You know, we didn't have Kroger where we could go buy fillets of fish. If you had a family fish fry, y'all got up and went fishing and got your fish. And the whole family cook and clean the fish. Then too, one of the major problem is that parents got to wake up and realize and see their kids for who they really are.
That part. All that.
We don't want to see your children for who they really are. Your friends will tell you, you will get mad. Other family members tell you, you will get mad and cut them off. Man, let me tell you something. I was in a situation where I dated a woman. Her child was so bad that when I went home with her for Thanksgiving, you know, nobody came because they knew she was coming because they'll kill her. Because how disrespectful she is to her mother, despite how much she helped her. So at some point, you have to wake up and see your child for who you are. One thing I can say about an Ann Lamar and a Gladys, if the school called and said we cut the food, the first day went in and go up to the school cutting the food with a teacher, you know your child. You know your child. I know Dexter is, I know my child. You ain't gonna be like, well, mama, no, ain't no mama, Dexter. What did you do? You know what I'm saying? You got to know your child, and some of them got blinders on and don't want to see that. You know your son, even if a man do stay in your house and he giving you money and paying the rent, you know that niggas, you know that joker selling drugs, but then you want to say, my baby ain't no drug dealer. Well, how he paying the rent? How you getting your car note paid? How you doing this and that? So at the end of the day, you really got to know your children and start defending them in their wrongness. Like I said, mama in the school system, here it is, your child flunking, got an F in every grade. You send notes home. You don't come one time. They come home and say the teacher took my cell phone, and you come up to the school acting the damn fool over a cell phone, but your child flunking every grade at the school. So we got punkish parents. Let me say it again. Hashtag that PP, y'all. Punkish parents. We got punkish parents.
Punkish parents.
That don't want to raise their children. And because they lazy themselves, you want everybody to do the job that you need to be doing. So guess what? You and your child both need they behind whoop.
Hey, Keith. It didn't start with me, Gladys, and my granny, man. It passed on down to Dexter Lamar, Monica Lamar too. Because my parents had this thing where they would always say, "Don't make them white folks have to call me." I heard it every day. Don't make them white folks have to call me. Look, I got in trouble one time in middle school. I'm sitting in the principal's office. He gonna tell me I can call the police or I can call your parents. I said, well, you might well call the police because they gonna kill me when they get here anyway.
But see, Trey, you know what? A lot of people, and me and your dad generation, have dropped the ball with the old school training because we've let the world conform how we need to be as parents.
Well, let me interject right there, Kenny. And then I'll come back, Trey, so you can talk to him. But since he brought it up, you continue your conversation. But how important is chores? How important is going to church? How important? D, you'll love me for this one. We had to do the Easter speeches. We had to participate. We had to take out the trash. The old school way, Kenneth, there are not too many still left behind. How important is it that we get back to that, regardless of how much our society have changed?
It's very important because it's amazing. Some things we'll keep to tradition. We'll sit there and like go through the reminiscing of things that happened in Black history, and we'll sit there and mourn it and celebrate it. But then we'll sit there and say on other things, time have changed. You know, yeah, times have changed, but the same thing, there was nothing wrong with that old school training. Yeah, we're not playing 8 tracks no more because we can stream. We do conform to the world in certain things. But for us, that old school training, you know, some of that still need to be intact. Let me tell you something. I love my son to death. He turned 21. I don't care how good of friends we supposed to be, because like I said, you can't be their daddy and be their buddy. You can't be their mama and be they buddy. You know, my daughter like my sister. Man, I hate to see that because that really don't show it. Because here it is, you twerking and I'm twerking. I ain't
Yep.
if I'm a mama, I ain't teaching my daughter how to twerk.
Hashtag PP.
And when I go to my son turned 21, I ain't going to the liquor store with him to buy his first bottle of liquor. The world teach them enough. I'm not finna do none of that. Now we gonna have some conversations, man. You know, to this day now, at almost 50, my mama or daddy never seen me drink nothing in front of them out of respect. Out of respect, I ain't never drunk that in front of my mom and dad out of respect. On a couple of cuss words, I probably said I was pissed, and they was like, "All right now," you know. But at the same time, if your mom and dad raised you right, there's a level of respect.
That's right.
Things you can do on your own, and we know you're gonna do.
No cap.
Like Trey coming to school in the 8. There's a lot of things you done did that your dad ain't gonna know about. But at the same time, you got that respect for your dad. The same thing with you, D. You done did some things that your mama taught you against, but we just have a level of respect. And these days, parents don't demand that level of respect. Because even my son now, you know, up to a couple of years ago, hey, bro, don't raise your voice, dog, because don't let the phone fool you. Because the next time I come to town and I see you on the street now, it's going to be me and you. Don't you do that. Because I will beat the brake shoes off you.
Trey, talk to the young person real quick in 2 minutes so we can move to this next section. D and Kenneth have talked to the parents. You got that lazy behind, and we're not talking about, let's be clear, we're not just talking about 18, 19, 20, 21. You got some 35, 40, 45, 50, 52, right. 55-year-olds still staying with their mom and dad is mooching. And they're not trying to do anything. So let's be clear. We're not talking about somebody 20, 21 and 25. We're going from 18 all the way up. And if you're not working or supporting your mom and your dad, you are mooching. Come on, let's call it what it is. If you're not paying a bill and you're not trying to help them out and your butt is laying in the bed to 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and you're not trying to clean up and watch, what do you say, Trey, what do you say after hearing Keith and Danita D-Hike talk the way that they did? What do you say?
Talking to the young people, man, you are pure D, you're pure D lazy. That's the nicest way I can put it. But it takes at some point growing up, after a real adult, yo, you want to talk about I'm grown, you want to talk about all this. A real adult gets out and make for themselves. A real adult knows how to get out and let's make this happen. It took me forever to be able, once I got out and went to school, it took me forever to be able to call my parents and ask for help. I didn't want to do it. And like Keith said earlier, everything you do gonna come with a speech. My daddy would tell me time in, time out. I might fuss, but I'm gonna get it done. But at some point, as a young adult, you gotta understand that it is not your parents' obligation. Their obligation was to raise you to 18. Their obligation was to make sure you had everything you needed till you got to the age of adulthood. And when you get to the point that you can say I'm grown, but you still sitting there mooching off of them, now you still a kid. You shouldn't be able to do any adult stuff. And if you can walk in and out of your parents' house right now, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, something is wrong with that. You should, if any young adult that grows up watching their parent work for them, it should be something inside of you that say, I'm retiring my mom and my dad. I'm gonna make sure my mom and dad
that thing inside, that's called honor. And very few children have that. It's called honor. You know what I'm saying? And they don't have it. And it's sad, because if you talk to them, you know about it. They, as you being a young person, you can't even get them to see or wrap their heads around it. And this is the thing that I have the biggest problem with, is kids who do things that they've never seen their parents do, but society
That's talk.
believes that the apple don't fall far from the tree.
Yeah.
And that's not always the case. You see what I'm saying? You can have these kids that's unruly. They get out here, they drinking, they doing whatever openly in front of people, and other people see them. Oh, ain't that so-and-so's kid and this and that. And people automatically think that the parent is accountable for the adult. So let me just add that in. We're talking about you allowing your child to use you to stay up under you. We're not blaming you for that child, that adult child who leaves your home behavior, because we all have freedom of choice. So once they leave your tutelage, they have a tendency to lean toward what the popular crowd is doing, or what society is doing, or what social media is doing. And so you'll have your children doing everything under the sun that they did not get from you. Right. You can talk to them, you can tell them, you can teach them, you can train them. And the only thing that you can hope for is what the word tells us, that if you train up a child, that at some point in time that they will remember the training that they got, and it'll come back around and they'll remember and bring themselves in. Because I've had to learn, and I'm saying this from a place of experience. Once my children get grown and gone, I can't control what they do. You know what I'm saying? I'm not losing no sleep. Once I say what I gotta say, it's said, it's done. Whatever choice you make, whatever decision you make going forth, then that's gonna be on you. As much as I can do to help, I will help you, but I ain't getting ready to kill myself.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not.
Exactly. So you touched on it right at the end. As long as and you touched exactly what my dad is. Most parents, they don't want to see their children struggle, first of all. But as a parent will go to the end for you, as long as they know you're giving what you got, and as long as they know. My dad always says, as long as I got your ear, I'll give you the world. As long as you don't have to do what your parent, as a young person or a young adult, you don't have to do what your parents say do every time. But as long as you're listening to them, it's gonna be something where later on in life, it's gonna come back and you're gonna say, they told me.
And you know,
it's gonna be something where it's because that wisdom, it's not about them knowing everything, it's about them already seeing what you about to encounter, what you about to
exactly been there, done that.
Sometimes as young people.
And not only that, Trey, my thing is for parents to even get a clue where they're going down the wrong road. And even for some children that's listening, an adult person that's listening, every house got rules. I'm going on 50, my brother 44. Even we visit my mom, she still does the same thing my grandma said. My door locks at a certain time, but guess what? Even at 50 and 44, if my mama tell me something about when her house, when I'm going to visit, that's her rules. Like they say, when you're in Rome, you do as the Romans.
That's right.
And then too, another reason know that you're wrong. If I got an adult person staying in my house, ain't working, ain't doing this and that, they're providing food, shelter for you. And I tell you my rule, the first thing you go to holler, well, I'm grown. Well, I tell you what, you get the hell out of my house. And then guess what? When you leave with everything your money bought you.
Yes, sir.
You probably don't leave there with probably a couple pair of socks and 2 pair of drawers. So when you leave all my stuff that I bought with my money. Every clothes you got on your back, every bra, every panties, every tampon, every draw, every t-shirt, everything I bought.
You got those.
You leave it here. When you leave with everything you bought with your money. You leave with everything you bought with, but see, that goes to show you that parents are not holding their children to standards. Wow. They're not doing it, and that's the problem. You know, man, I don't even know, even at this day now, at almost 50, I don't even know, even if I'm sick, I done had surgeries, I don't even know what it's like to sleep late. To think you finna lay in the bed on the weekend. My daddy got to start cutting grass. You cutting grass. If he raking, you raking. So trust me, I do not know What did he?
Lamar got to walk
I
through
never
that
done
house,
it.
but you knew it was time to get up.
Hey, man. Hey, your daddy got you up at 7 in the morning. You started first. You stopped. Your mama had to make your daddy. Let him come eat breakfast. Oh, we're going. Your mama said, go in there and eat. Then when you get through, come on back on out here and this and that.
Right.
You know,
Right.
even my kids now, they had it made to a little bit. My daughter, she 19, going on 20. But man, that girl can sleep to 1 or 2 o'clock. I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what that is. And then some things in society make us cater a little more. I'm a little more fearful for my daughter than I am my son, because I taught my son how to hold his own. Men, we kind of hold daughters to be our baby.
Uh-huh.
You feel me, Trey? So I got to cling a little close to my baby just a little longer. But my man, hey man, because I got to think, if my daughter bring a dude home, he got to show me you can support him. That's why I push my son on. The people say, well, it shouldn't be different rules. Yeah, it really should, because the man's supposed to take care of the household.
Yeah.
He holds the house down. So I got to teach my son how to be a man. My baby, I'm going to teach her what to get out of a man, but I'm going to give her a few more years in the house, just because Trey, I don't know what to say, man, because that's my baby, man. That's a girl.
Man, it's something about that little girl, but it'll pierce your heart.
Hey, Trey, we both done ran these streets, man. We know how these dudes do these girls, man.
Hey, look, God knew what he was doing when he gave us girls.
Yeah, so it's like, But you know what? I don't treat her no different than my son. I gave her the same dating rights. I'm still hardcore with her, raw like my son. Sometimes we'd be riding the car when she was growing up. I said, hey, and I look at her, she said, what? I said, you do know we don't give up booty for Red Lobster, no movie, right? I just want to, but Dad, I just want to let you know, because he gonna tell you anything to get that booty, baby.
That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying? So I still give her that hardcore training, but I might give her a few more years at the house than I would my son, man, because it just, with these young guys now, man, it's just really hard to find some good young guys, unlike yourself, Trey, that got business, man. You're a rare breed, bro. That's why
I
you're the
appreciate
president.
that, boss.
You're the president, and you're a rare breed, because guys your age, they're not ready. They're not ready. They're not ready. So Trey, what advice do you have for the guys your age that's not ready?
Work on yourself. Work on trying to stand on your own 2 feet. That would be my biggest advice, man. You can't keep going out here trying to lay and play with these girls, because some gonna end up biting. Now before you know it, it's not just you. You got another mouth to feed. So now you trying to figure out, and because you're in the state that you're in, you're not fit to be a father. So now you trying to figure stuff out. That's why I would say work on yourself first, and work on getting you a job. Work on paying your own bills. It's gonna be times where it ain't gonna look good. We've all hit times where it didn't look pretty, but we had to figure it out. That's what's gonna make you a man. That's what's gonna make you learn how to earn and respect what you get, opposed to just blowing what you get.
Yeah, and and shout out to your dad, man, because anytime with me being my age and I meet a young guy your age, they got their stuff together, they let me know that you had some good home training. And as a father, especially having a daughter, man, that is important to know that this boy or this man is gonna take my daughter out my house and do whatever, that he had some good home training versus some cat come to the door, don't even know me. Mr. Kenny, what's going on, man?
And a real daddy, when you go to see that daughter, a real daddy can see, because parents can see straight through dudes. They know exactly what a dude is made of, and a real daddy will be able to see and respect and say, yeah, that you. For you say you got you something good, that come from good stock.
Yeah,
but that a real daddy will be able to see that.
And if the
real moms can too.
Real moms.
I said real moms can too. I'm just saying, I've been raising mine. My girls' dad died when they were 3rd grade and pre-K. So, it's been me. So we can see.
D, let me ask you a question. With your daughter's father dying early, what is the male role model that you're giving them so they can have that man in their life that's missing, because they need more than just mama.
That's right.
They need a male. So from that perspective, what are you doing as a mom to make sure? Because there are some things that men know that you can't teach your daughters, D. You don't know all the male tricks. So what do you do, as you saying, as a single mom, if something does happen tragic where they lose their father, what do you do to make sure they have that positive male role model in their life?
Bottom line, and this may be a little, it may step on a few toes or whatever the case may be, but I truly understand that a male role model is necessary, but I don't believe that it's something that I can do. I think it's the job of the males that are around them to step up to the plate. And so one of the things that I've always said, and I truly believe that when there's an absence of the father in the life of a daughter or a father figure, there is a break that's left for all types of bullery to come in and cause problems. And so you have grandfathers, you have uncles, you have cousins, male cousins, but they have to be willing to step up to the plate. And I will say this, you don't always have that. You don't always have that available for your daughter. So I raised my 27 and my 23-year-old daughter the best that I could, depending on the Lord to add anything that I couldn't. Was it trial and error? Yes, it was. Was I prepared for it? No, I wasn't, because I was married to their father. I expected us to raise them together. So when he passed away and they were at such a young age, the only thing I knew to do was to step up. And I've never pretended to be the man. I'm not a man. I am a very feminine woman, and I love being a feminine woman. So I'm not trying to step up in the shoes of a man. So I did what I could do as a mother, and I gave advice according to some of the scenarios that I had found myself in hopes that at some point in time within the years of them growing, that some male that was in my life, whether it was my dad, my stepfather, my uncle, may have dropped nuggets along the way. But it's nothing that I could do as a woman to ensure or assure that there's a male figure, because that man has to want to step up into that position. And it doesn't always happen like that.
Wow.